Right. Okay. Okay, so where are we up to? Let me see. Right. So these next few slides, and we don't have many to go through now. I know quite a lot of this towards the end it's quite methodical with the monotonous with the constant showing of different pages, maintenance pages. It's not easy to watch. So what we're going to look at now is to do with the portable maintenance device. When it comes to the portable maintenance device, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the options that we've already looked at on the MAX display system, you've got on the portable maintenance device. So if we look at the first drop down, so when you use the portable maintenance device, you're either going to be hardwired or you're going to be a wireless connection if you have that option. If you want to interrogate the network file server, then you're going to have some kind of connection to the aircraft. This top left-hand corner here, that's showing you the actual aircraft number that you're connected to, the tail number. Over here is our connection status. It's shown as a little chain link. If the link is broken, it means you have no connection. Okay, you want the link to be solid. And then over here, this is like a settings type of thing, allowing you to get in to change user or exit, or some additional features that you can have with this this technician's account. The software itself, as I say, is on the portable maintenance device, and you'll have an icon somewhere on that desktop to allow you to open this software. Once you've opened the software, you've got a connection. That connection is made, whether it be wireless connection or hardwired connection. You're then connected to the network file server. So as you can see here, these first few icons across here, we've already looked at those. Okay, inbound flight deck effects, existing flight deck effects, ground tests, system config, fault guidance. We've looked at those already. Excuse me. When you look at them on the portable maintenance device, they look pretty similar. The interface is very similar to what you would see in the flight deck. So I don't see any point in going over that information again. Okay, what you see in the flight deck, you see on the portable maintenance device. But what we will have a look at is some of the additional options that we've got. This one here is what we class as our download manager. It's only available on the portable maintenance device. You can't do this on the MAX display system, but it gives us the ability to download onboard files, logs, reports from the network file server, from the hard drives or mass storage device to the portable maintenance device. So things like security logs, performance logs, engine reports, ACARS reports. Again, it's all software based, so you may have many user-defined reports that the airlines have put together themselves. Okay, so on here we can see the filters that we've got, the files, excuse me, and we've selected log files, so system log files here. When I've selected it, I put a tick in there. I can select multiple files if I wanted to. It doesn't have to be just a single selection. I can select as many or as few as I like. If I select this top box here, it would put a tick in all of them. It saves you having to go through the entire list. Or you can just select individual ones. As soon as you've selected at least one file, the continue this continue will become available. Select continue, the page changes to this display, and on here it shows you all the system log files in this case that are currently on the mass storage device of that network file server. Okay, the actual file name, the file type, obviously in this case we've only selected the one file type, and the date and time that that file was created. What I can do here now is I can select a file, okay, and I can get details on it. If I select details, it will give me more information about that file, things about how big that file is, that type of thing. I can delete it. So if I wanted to delete some of these old files, these are not LSAPs, these are just reports, log files, that type of thing. I can delete those old files if I wanted to. Once you delete them, when you select delete, it'll ask you if you're sure. Select OK. Those files are now gone. There's no way of getting those files back unless you do a restore from the SD card. Okay. If you delete the files, the aircraft takes off and lands again, they've gone forever unless you've got a backup somewhere else. I can send those files. So when I select report, it allows me to download those files to the portable maintenance device, whether I'm hardwired or wireless, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Get current, that like refreshes it. It's just like an automatic refresh of the page, and go back would take me back to the previous menu. The little tick that shows next to it here shows me when a file has been successfully transferred from the mass storage device to the portable maintenance device. Okay. We also have security. There are a number of components on the aircraft, as I showed you before, that are physically directly attached to the network file server. Those components themselves have to have security certificates on them to allow them to access the network file server. Just as with a portable maintenance device, a laptop, let's say, has security certificates on it. When you connect, either wirelessly or you plug in, it goes through what they call like a handshake, where it makes sure that security certificates are applicable to that aircraft. So we have to make sure that components that similar to a portable maintenance device that connect directly to the network file server, they also have to have security reports as well, or security certificates. This allows us to review those security certificates that are listed. Okay, allows them to see what security certificates we have. And you can see here, you've got things to do with the ECs and such like. Okay, different types of security certificates there. You can generate security certificates for the aircraft. Okay, so if you fit a component and it doesn't have a current security certificate, then you can generate those security certificates as well. Okay. So again, you may not get involved with any of this. It depends, I guess, on the airlines and how they're going to control all this, whether it's just going to be a general maintenance task or whether they're going to have a certain department within the airline to cover all of this. But it shows you here there's different security certificates that you may have, or you could potentially have. I think, yeah. I think it's actually, I think the FAA may actually require these security certificates to be kept for a minimum amount of time as well. A few agencies are required. That is a requirement for a few agencies, I believe. The airplane ID. Again, this is probably something that you may not get involved with. It really does depend on whether or not you are changing out a network file server for either one that you've taken from another aircraft or if it's a brand new one that you're fitting or a refurbed one. When you fit the network file server to the aircraft, then you have to ensure that it has the correct airline ID and the correct aircraft type, okay, and also the airplane ID. These have to match what's in the display processor computers, okay? So when you go into the flight deck and you look in the auxiliary window, you'll see airplane ID. You'll certainly see the airplane registration number, the airplane ID. That has to match, okay? So when you put a new network file server in, you're going to have to start to put that information in, okay? You'll potentially have to put that information in. When you do that and when you change the airplane ID, if there is a fault history in the network file server, okay, then it will automatically delete that fault history to ensure that we don't have the wrong fault history on the wrong aircraft, okay? Extended maintenance. Again, another option, a menu option here. Again, we've talked about many of these already when we looked at the display system in the flight deck, and for the portable maintenance device, these options are the same. Okay, so present leg faults, existing faults, fault history, data load, maintenance enable and disable. You can do all that on the aircraft. The backup and restore as well, that's also on the aircraft that we can do from the display system. But these other options here are solely for the portable maintenance device. So I'll have a look at those. I'll just have a quick overview of them. The network file server. So this one, when it comes to the network file server, it provides access to many software loads on the aircraft. In this case, we're looking at things like LSAPs, loadable software airplane parts. We're looking here for operational software, that type of thing, as you can see here. So at some point, excuse me, maintenance are going to get involved with this to delete old loadable software airplane parts, because at the end of the day, it is just a mass storage device. It's a hard drive. It's going to start to fill up. Okay, the capacity is going to start to reduce. So at some point, somebody's going to have to come in here to delete them. So we selected uninstall LSAPs. These are all the LSAPs that are currently listed, excuse me, in the network file server. You can select all of them just by selecting that top box there, or you can select individual ones or a mix and match. Okay, select as many as you want, and then hit delete. When you select delete, again, it will come with a pop-up just to say you're sure. When you select OK, continue, it will delete those LSAPs from that mass storage device. Okay, there's no trash can, there's no bin that they go in, they're deleted. Okay, the only way you can get them back is to do a restore from the SD card. Okay, so that's a way of managing it. It allows us to manage the software, the LSAPs that are on that hard drive. A reboot, there's no on-off switch for the network file server. Other than pulling circuit breakers or powering the aircraft down, the only way really to depower it and repower it like a reboot is to use this reboot icon here. It will shut the network file server down and it will reboot it again, just as you would do with a computer. Okay. Reset data allows us to restore any applications, in this case the network, this application, to any factory defaults. There are certain aspects, certain things that you can change with some of this software to personalize it, I guess, for the airlines. When you select reset data, it just basically puts everything back to its how it was when it came from the manufacturer. It just basically restores it to its default condition. And then re-image, well, again, if you hit re-image, it's going to come up with a caution box asking you, are you sure? Because when you hit continue, it will basically wipe out all of the hard drive. Okay, it allows us to re-image the network file server and also the software on it. So it actually basically it formats it. Okay, everything's gone. It erases all the software on that hard drive, whether it be LSAPs, operational software, reports, files, all gone. Okay. And again, on this one, this is looking at everything on the mass storage device. So not just LSAPs, but all files, regardless of what they are. Okay, LSAPs, system logs, generated reports, whether they've been generated via the onboard maintenance function, or they've been generated by LRUs. Some LRUs generate their own reports, which then get transmitted. This allows us to go in and look at all of that. So you'll see all kinds of software mixes in here. Okay. Files, extensions, operational software. It allows you to go through and you can select individual ones. Okay, ONS, MSD, we can select here. Then once you've selected it, it shows all the relevant software for the onboard network system mass storage device. So this is all operational software. If I select the storage icon down here, it shows me how much available space is on that hard drive, okay, or hard drives. Again, once I've made a selection of the software here, I can select details and it gives me more information about that piece of software. I can generate a report. Again, it allows me to download it to my storage device, or I can send it. Okay. Delete, well, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It will delete that software. And then add. So when it comes to adding software to my storage device, it can be any kind of software really, but I would imagine primarily it's going to be LSAPs. If you have updates for your software, regardless of what it is, as I said before, there's a number of ways of getting it to the mass storage device using the using the terminal cellular or terminal wireless. The only other way to get software onto that mass storage device, the network file server, is to use a portable maintenance device, a laptop. So you would get the piece of software, the LSAP, the new software, you would load it to your computer, your portable maintenance device, USB stick or something plugged into the side. You would then connect to the aircraft, you would select add, it will open up another window, and it's very much like you have on a laptop, where if you plug a USB stick in the side, you can look at the files on that USB stick, and you can basically select the files you want to upload to the network file server. Okay, similar function as it would do automatically with the wireless connections or the terminal cellular. We're just doing that now manually. You may be at an airfield or somewhere where there's no terminal cellular or wireless connectivity. Okay, so we allow that. We allow you to do it using a portable maintenance device. So that allows us to add software. 8.7 had what we call the SMT. Okay, SMT would allow us to do that. Similar sort of function, different software, slightly different. Input monitoring. So, okay, again, I think Brian will talk about some of this, I think, when it comes to the engines. But this is a bit like a data bus analyzer for the most. You can look at avionics parameters, or you can look at parameters for the network file server. In this case, we selected excuse me, avionics parameters, and you can see down here all the parameters to do with the aircraft itself. So the airplane ID, the tail ID, the date and time, that kind of thing, whether the aircraft's got weight on wheels or not. If I select NFS, then it allows me across the bottom here, okay, to select the different data buses. So in this case, we've got the Ethernet connection selected. So it shows me all the end connections for the Ethernet and whether the system is up or down, whether it's operating or not. I can do that for 429, input, discretes, transmit, that type of thing, discretes. Lots of information on there. Like I say, it's very similar to a data bus analyzer. Allows you to look at the inputs and outputs to the network file server. LRU reports, again, something you may use. A lot of LRUs on the aircraft are quite capable of generating their own reports. Those reports can be used by maintenance, they can be sent, they can be downloaded. This just allows us a means of accessing those reports. So again, you would select the system that you wanted, ATA31 in this case, and then you would select, in this case, DPC number 1, and select continue. And then it will show you all the reports that the display processor computer has produced, allowing you again to download that information to the portable maintenance device. You may want a copy of it to print off. Okay. So again, it just allows you to access those reports that LRUs actually generate. This is quite a complex one. It's to do with the off-board links with the aircraft. A lot of this is optional. So you've got the terminal wireless, you've got the cellular and SATCOM on here. If you don't have the options fitted, then you don't have this interface for that particular communications device. But this basically allows us to configure it, how we want to configure these devices for the off-board links. Very, very customer configurable. I'm not going to go through all of it in detail. You'll be here for a long, long time going through all of this. But it allows you to switch individual systems on and off. When you switch a system on, it then allows you to determine who can use it, whether it's crew, flight crew, cabin crew, maintenance, where they can use it. So at specific airfields, you can use it, but at another airfield you can't. The types of reports that can be sent, how they're sent. So again, it's very customer configurable, okay? You can see the Wi-Fi links here, the cellular links, the SATCOM links. So again, it allows you to manage that and how these systems connect to the outside world. Very, very customer configurable. And the same goes for the crew wireless. This is again an option. If you have the crew wireless fitted, then you will have this interface. This first page here allows me to switch the system on and off. Okay, so it's like an on-off switch, just a soft switch to turn the systems on and off. From that point, when the system is switched on, it allows me to turn the forward and or the aft crew wireless LAN unit on or off. So again, individual controls for the forward and aft. When they're switched on, again, it then allows me to determine who can connect, when they connect, okay, and how they can connect. So on here, it allows me to configure whether maintenance can use it, whether the flight crew can use the crew wireless system, whether cabin crew can use that crew wireless system. And as you can see down here, I can determine at which airports it has that connectivity at. So if you know you're going to an airport but doesn't have, or you're not going to use the crew wireless systems, or you don't want people to use that crew wireless LAN unit at a specific airport, you don't want the Wi-Fi capability at a specific airfield, you can inhibit it. So as soon as the aircraft gets to that airfield, because it has a connection to the flight management computer, we know where we're going, we know our destination, it can switch it off. A lot of countries have different connections when it comes to wireless. We don't all use the same wireless technology. So again, it can be configured to connect to different WAPs, wireless application protocols at different airfields relating to regional type things. So again, hugely configurable. And then other functions. So on the MAX display system, we just had special functions. That's all we could do, where we looked at the proximity sensor electronics unit for air-ground mode. We have that capability on here as well, excuse me, but we also have additional functions. Shop faults. So again, not only can LRUs generate reports, they can also store faults in their memory, okay? When you take that unit out, you send it back to the manufacturer or wherever it's going to go to be refurbished. The manufacturer will probably download any reports from the non-volatile memory inside these LRUs. This interface allows us to download and get access to that information as well. It can be quite useful, especially if you're receiving refurbished parts that may have been sent away to be fixed, to be rectified. As part of the process, when you repair these parts, the manufacturers are supposed to clear the latent faults in the memory of these LRUs. It has happened in the past. It happened on 787 where an LRU was returned back to service from being refurbished, but the manufacturer of the component did not clear the latent faults. And that resulted in a system had failed, a different system had failed, but this other component was there as a backup, but it didn't take over because as far as the component was concerned, even though it was refurbished and it was serviceable, the latent faults were still in the memory. So it refused to take over, and the aircraft had to turn around halfway across the Atlantic. So this can be useful to ensure that when you get a refurbished item, you can check to make sure that those latent faults have actually been removed from memory. Okay, quite a useful trick, because actually, mistakes do happen. They do happen. Airplane data monitor. Well, again, this allows you to basically configure this aircraft to transmit, record, store, transmit continuous data, parameter data logging of various systems on the aircraft, digital connections and such like. Again, very, very customer configurable. You obviously do have to know which parameters you want to record. You've got to know the correct labeling and such like. But it allows the airlines are very data hungry these days. They certainly when it comes to engines and performance and such like. And it's a bit like an airplane health monitoring system, I guess, where you can actually monitor this data in real time, or you can just record it at specific points along the flight, like say top of descent or something like that. But again, it's extremely configurable by the airlines. If you want to monitor something and it's available, then you can do just that. You can monitor it. And like I say, you can transmit it. If you have the communications management unit, there's no reason why you can't have a continuous performance, continuous data logging. And I think this is the last page that we've got here, and it's to do with the engines. And again, I'll be completely honest, engines are not my subject, certainly not on the MAX. The LEAP engine is new to me. Trent engine's not so bad on the 87, but the LEAP is a little bit new to me, so I'm not 100% on this. But this again is on the maintenance laptop and the portable maintenance device. I believe that you are going to be able to access this on the MAX display system as well.
So,
do you know about that, Brian?
I'll be covering this tomorrow.
Okay, there you go. So I won't steal your thunder, Brian. Okay, so I'm gonna
go a little early then.
I'm gonna let Brian deal with that one because he knows it far better than I ever will. So I'm just showing you where you get access to it. I do believe you can. You might be able to put me right on this, Brian. Is it actually going to be available on the MAX display system? I believe it is.
There's a PRR that's coming out that will allow us to do that, but that's going to be not for about a year or so because it's also dependent upon the PRR that's going to put touch screens on the airplane, like the 777.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where you can go for it at the moment on the portable maintenance device, and I'm just going to let Brian deal with that tomorrow because he's going to explain it much better than I will ever be able to explain it. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, that is me. So that's all from myself. Any updates on MCAS? Okay. I'll be completely honest with you. You probably know just as much as I do when it comes to MCAS and the updates that have been done to the MCAS system. Yes, there have been updates. There's lots of software updates in the flight control computers. There's also information now that is available to the flight crew for discrepancies with angle of attack, things of that nature. But as far as our notes are concerned, at this moment in time, we've not made any changes to our notes until everything is completely finalised. We don't want to make work for ourselves. We certainly don't want to put the wrong information out there. So it's a great question. It really is. But it's one that I'm not really able to answer professionally at this moment in time. But yes, there have been updates, lots of changes, not just to software and such like, but also to procedures as well, processes, which have all resulted in, obviously the aircraft being a lot safer than it was, So on that note, I don't like to keep doors open, but I don't want to say any more than that because I honestly don't know any more than that. And if I was, I would just be speculating, and I don't think that's good to do. I'd sooner know for certain. I don't want to put any falsifications out there. So you've got my email address. I'll be online tomorrow. Brian will be covering the course tomorrow, but I'll be online tomorrow as well. As I say, I'm a sort of instructor and I've been instructing now for 15 years. I don't like to say that instruction and training is finished by myself. My door is always open. I had a guy only 2 weeks ago that I taught 2 years ago in South Africa got onto me about certificates that I was able to help him with. So if you do have any questions, or you want to confirm anything, or you want to try and get some information, if I can, I will help. No question about that. just ping me an email. I will answer all my emails, but sometimes it does take a little bit longer than others, depending on how busy we are. But I hope it's been useful for you. I hope it's been a good refresher. I hope I've not put too many people to sleep. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. So unless anybody has any questions or anything, then I am finished for today. Is everybody okay? Good stuff. Okay, well, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Okay, thank you very much. Take care.